Yeah, so this is the Cobra Kai Season 6 Part 2 review, but I gotta rant about something first. This fucking thing cannot stand on his own, and it pisses me off. You wanna know what you need to have to stand this guy up? You need 3 fucking things. I get maybe one thing for the center, but do you really need something for the wings? Like, either figure out how to make him stand without anything, or consider not making him at all until you iron it all out. I know he's big, but that shouldn't be an excuse. He's playing up big things in here that don't require 70 things to stand. And I know he's he's symmetrical, but no one else in here is as big as him. But they still should have been able to figure that out. It's not that hard, I gotta imagine. Anyway, set down over there and I'm gonna throw it. Collector's item. I can throw this though. I mean, this is just. I can throw that and this. These I can throw. These I do throw. Those are actually fun to play with, but yeah, finished Part 2, Season 6 of fucking Cobra Kai. I can't wait to dial down with this. I want to get the Predator, man. Anyway, yeah, Season 6 Part 2 is fine. It's probably one of my other least favorite seasons. Probably my second least favorite. I don't know if I'd go that far. It's a decent season. It's a lot better than. Whoa, EA's review wants me to review their updated terms. No, I don't want to do that. I'm busy. Stop bothering me. Oh my god. I have read and accept. Okay. I don't know why it's being. This is what I hate about opening my computer. It's just, because every time I plug it in, every time I unplug it, it just, dies. So every time I replug it in, I have to I get a bunch of notifications, and EA and Steam automatically open, and there's Adobe Creative Cloud. It's been updated to the latest version and will always be kept up to date. I don't know why I needed to know that, but I guess I did. You can just stop telling me that from now on. If it's going to be kept up to date, I'm going to assume that you have been updated to the latest version if you're kept up to date, I'm just going to assume that one. And now suddenly there's going to be another or another notification appears. Anyway, it's a lot better than Season 6 Part 1 because it doesn't feel like there's as much filler. There's a little bit of filler, but the 5 episodes I think suits this one more because there's a lot more to do. Like the Psych Taika is going on. There's a lot happening. Now I think some plot lines. There was a little plot line where Johnny and Miguel have to go back for Carbon and nothing happens. And I don't know why they kind of just decided, let's have this little plot line in there just to get Kenny. It's like, well, I should have just gotten Kenny anyway. He's a great fighter. I think he should have just been automatically assumed for your tournament. I mean, again, I said that the 6 fighters, choosing them should have been easy. But I don't know why they made it so hard. But anyway, now that they're here, yeah, this Psych Taika is definitely a little bit underwhelming by how they just hyped it up. But there's still some cool things. I was expecting the Kumite, and only really one part of it lived up to that in any case or in any shape or form, and that was where they had this elevated platform where 2 people fought 2 other people at once, and whenever one got knocked out, someone else would come in and fight. But yeah, that was the closest thing to something I would expect something like that at the Kumite. The rest of the stuff was just kind of tame compared to what I was expecting, because again, I was expecting the Kumite, but it's almost nothing like the Kumite, except for the elevated platform. That's the only thing I thought that was like kind of Kumite-ish. Which that elevated platform is my favorite because, it's the most unique. It's also the most like the Kumite, which is what I expected. I know I'm so hung up on this Kumite thing, but the way that they hyped it up, they shouldn't have hyped it up that much. Maybe I wouldn't expect the Kumite. But yeah, so that's that. Characters, I don't know, not much gets developed. Mainly just Daniel, because he gets so hung up on Miyagi being Sekai Tai and he killed someone. And I don't know why he's so hung up on it. Also, again, the most annoying thing about him is the most biggest thing that he's hung up on. And it's not even the Miyagi's past stuff where he didn't tell him anything. It's I'm so worried about Miyagi's legacy. It's like the man cares more about Miyagi's legacy than Miyagi himself cared about it. He's caring more about a dead man's legacy more than the dead man cared about it. If there's one thing that Miyagi cared about, it was not legacy. It definitely wasn't legacy. He didn't give a shit what his legacy is. And in heaven or whatever the afterlife is in the Cobra Kai universe, he still doesn't care. He really could care less. It's everybody else. Well, mainly just Daniel that care about it. And it's like, dude, I mean, Miyagi was great, and sure, his legacy is a little bit important, but maybe don't care about it so much because, again, Miyagi doesn't give a flying fuck what his legacy is. I don't know what that's just always bothered me. Where Daniel and Chosen are so worried about the legacy of Miyagi. He wouldn't care, like Eagles, like Miyagi thing. I'm not gonna let him turn my master into some karate vampire. Well, your master, not master, my sensei, but your sensei wouldn't care being turned into a karate vampire who looked at it and go, fun design. And he would have patted Dimitri and Hawk on the back and he would have moved on. Would have pulled up his big boy britches and would have just moved on. And I don't know why that's always bothered me. Well, it's because it's irritating. It's like you're caring about a legacy about a man who doesn't care about his legacy. But anyway, yeah, so yeah. But I like some stuff. The new villains, they're not great. They're not like compelling or anything, but I don't think they don't really need to be. They're all just final bosses. Like Axel is the final boss and challenge for, well, kind of Robby, but mainly Miguel. Robby's final boss is Quan in this season, who does sadly pass away. He grabs Kreese's knife, who's also a kind of a dummy because he puts it in the back. When really they should have just found a way. Like he gets bumped real bad and it falls out of his chest. But no, they had to kind of make him stupid. Like it was perfectly fine where it was, but then he put it in a more vulnerable position where it's more likely to fall out, or more likely to get snatched by somebody. Yeah. Anyway, Quan ends up grabbing it, and he starts fighting Axel with it, and then he does some flips and shit, and then gets stabbed. Right, and then and it's like, yeah, and then that's the cliffhanger. It's just somebody died. And gotta say, out of all the cliffhangers, that's definitely the second best hanger. Obviously after Miguel getting his back broken, that was the greatest cliffhanger, and always will be if all Karate Kid. I don't know, but anyway, yeah. So a lot of the villains set up in this one, they're not like supposed to be compelling. You're not supposed to really care. I mean, sure, you're supposed to care that you want them to beat them, but that's all you want is just them to get beat because they're bad. They're not good guys. So like, yeah, Axel serves as the pretty good final boss for Miguel, as in he's the biggest challenge Miguel's ever gonna fight. You know, he's tall, he's big, he's a good fighter. He's basically kind of like Victor Drago. He's been trained to fight his whole life. At least I think that's the idea I get off of him. And yeah, and you know, Miguel's never really fought something like that. So that's an interesting challenge for him to eventually overcome in the next part. Um, you know, I know Robby never wins, but he does in this final part, or I think it was the part before. He does win against Quan, and that's like probably the biggest fight in his life. And you know, he kind of wins that one on his own. So it's like I think I'm happy with Robby's character. You know, I'm not just getting ahead of myself that he doesn't win, but I've seen season 6, part 3 already. And, you know, it's very recent. It's still pretty recent in my mind. But, yeah. And Zara, she's just this mean little bitch on the Iron Dragons team, and she's the final boss for Tori. And Wolf, you know, as we come to learn, it's the final boss for Johnny. And I think all three of them do great as just the final challenge for probably your three most important characters, Johnny, Miguel, and Tori. You know, like if they do like a return show, you know, 15, 20, maybe even 30 years later, I don't think it would wait that long. But like a return show of all the, you know, cast now but older, I think Tori and Miguel is who I would follow. I'd probably choose both. I don't think I would want to choose between one or the other because, like, it's like you didn't really choose between Johnny and Daniel. You did choose Johnny, but then you ended up following them both pretty heavily. Because I would just start with that right off the bat. And the reason why I think Miguel and Tori is because, like, I'm most interested to see where they go in 20 years. I'm not that interested in, like, Samantha. She's the most boring to me. Like, I'd be more interested in Hawk and Dimitri. Not, like, as interested as, you know, Tori and Miguel, but, I mean, Robby is probably, like, the third most interesting. And, again, he's not as high up. I won't put him in the center. But, like, yeah, Samantha's probably the most boring. Like, I think Penis Breath would be a little more interesting. Like, Samantha, I can just kind of see where she's going, no matter what happens with her and Miguel. Like, Miguel, Tori, they could go several places, man. I mean, maybe Tori's life turns to shit again. Maybe it doesn't. Maybe Miguel ends up being the one whose life turns to shit. Maybe they have pretty good lives in the future. I don't know. It's for whatever writer has access to the characters in the future, and hopefully, if they end up doing that, the adventure continues being great. They come up with a good story and a good new cast for the new generation to follow, and us generation to, you know, be nostalgic for this generation. It's crazy. Eventually, the Daniel and Johnny and Chosen, they're all going to be the legacy. They're all going to be like the Kreese and the Silver and the Miyagi. I mean, Miyagi's wasn't alive by the time Cobra Kai came out, but he's still a legacy character. I mean, yeah, so like, yeah, and that'd be cool to see, like, really old William Zabka as Johnny again. Maybe he gets to fight for, you know, for the first time since, you know, the last Saikai Taikai thing. Yeah, that's just really interesting to me to see. That'd just be really interesting. But yeah, this is a pretty good season. It's not like great or anything. I think it's 7.5 suffices. I don't know where that really ranks among my others. If I ever do a ranking video, I'll probably just totally disregard my real ranking by the ratings. Just like I don't remember all the rankings. And then when I do a ranking video, the points I give them in that would probably be the official one. Like the ones right now are official. But, you know, that could just change at any time. This 7.5 could turn into an 8 next time when I watch it. Because it depends on my mood, really. Yeah, but it's not the best season, but it's also definitely not season 6, part 1. There's nowhere near as much meandering. There's a little bit, but it's like, it's just a little bit of padding. It's like, okay, maybe you didn't need this. But it's like not, like, just, okay, come on, get to the point, like season 6, part 1. But again, season 6, part 1 wasn't, like, terrible. Okay. Anyway, yeah. So that's season 6, part 2, second bit of that. Yeah. So that's about all for season 6, part 2. Yeah, that's all for this time. If you enjoyed, leave a comment. I'm a little sick. I used to be in a while, but I feel like, yeah, I'm good enough today to start. But yeah, that's all for this time. If you enjoyed, leave a like, leave a comment, and I will see you next time.